But I feel like if anyone should buy us stuff, it is you.
But why?
I'd like a private concert from Drake. But
That sounds like sex, dude.
no. Like
That's
he's
exactly what
performing.
it sounds like.
No.
sounds like
No, he's performing music, and I'm not the sole audience.
he's performing music, but he's fully naked. Hi guys, welcome back to This Is Not a Podcast. We have Leandro and Mehnazio. They're the Brazilian versions of Leah and Mehnaz. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. What about you, Mehnaz?
I've been great. Life's been good. Just chilling.
That's awesome. Okay, so one thing I wanted to ask you guys, I'm sure all of you have seen those AI generated Ghibli trends where everybody takes their favorite photos and then makes it into Ghibli art thanks to ChatGPT. What do you think of that? Are you one of those people who are like, oh, how can they use this and
The Studio Ghibli's thing.
how this taints art,
Okay.
or are you like, oh yeah, this is great for like the future?
If it's solely based on just the Ghibli art, like I didn't think too much about the Studio Ghibli thing because I felt like it is great for the future. But I just hate it. Like I cannot tell you how much it infuriates me to see someone's story with that.
Why?
Like it is so irritating. Please don't put that on your story. Like, oh my god. I don't know why, okay? Like when trends like that pop up and like I remember there was a point when people were there was some app and people were doing anime versions of themselves. It wasn't like this, so they couldn't transform existing photos, but it was like pictures of them, and I just find it so weird. I'm like, why do you feel like doing that? Like, why don't you just take a picture of yourself and put it? I'll be happy.
Okay, but you don't think that it's like, so for example, the guy who created the Ghibli art, his name is Miyazaki.
Yeah.
He hates AI replicating his work.
Yeah, I saw that.
But you're absolutely fine with that. Like that, you're okay with. Like it's
Honestly, I feel like it's subjective to different things because, like, with art, everyone's creating different kinds of it. There's a uniqueness to when a person creates it, and a studio like that creates it. So I feel like ultimately, if you ask me, I do think that, like, we kind of need to pay heed to the fact that that was an artistic expression, but also it's kind of inevitable that AI is going to take over any industry, right? Like it doesn't, like it's not just for artists. For any other job that's out there, there is an AI alternative coming up. So I just feel like if anything, it should push us to do more from our end.
makes sense. What about you, Leah? What do you think? Is it right to like?
Yeah, so my take on it is that I'm completely against like the AI version of Ghibli arts cuz so I'm a big fan of Ghibli, and Hayao Miyazaki, the creator, not the creator, the co-founder, he was completely against AI taking his style or whatever, but he was also like very much against 3D animations, and he's more into like hand drawn, the 2D animation and everything. And it is, so have you seen that clip that's going on Instagram where that 4 minute scene of a Ghibli movie?
Yeah, I
It's
saw
like
that,
it's
yeah.
taken 2,000 million years to create this.
Oh yeah, so that's a bit of a stretch, but it took like a year or something. And the effort people took, don't you think is just really sad how a machine like
Can I
bypassed that?
ask you a counter question
Yeah,
based
sure.
on that? So, if they are able to create it with seconds now, what they've put so much effort into, do you or don't you think that they can do so much like bigger and faster if they have the ability to inculcate the AI into their thing?
But that's again commercializing art because I feel like art is something that us humans create something from our passion and sweat,
Yeah.
tears, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, if AI were to make everything quicker and easier, then that defeats the whole purpose of art, I feel.
No,
That's
no,
my,
100%. In fact, I think that for generally a lot. Like I
Yeah.
just feel like if it comes down to it, like things are growing so rapidly that like us as humans barely have, like at this point in 2025 barely have enough to do because
Yes.
you can rely on AI a lot. So I feel like in the future it's only gonna kind of aggravate more. And in that sense, yeah, like I agree. But it's also that whether we want it or not,
It's going to
happening.
happen, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was also the question where people are saying that like it provides opportunities for disabled people to create art as well. But so there's a, I'm not sure which I think it's Kiki's Delivery Service, which is a Ghibli movie, where they showcased a piece of art which was created by a disabled Japanese artist too. So like yeah, I don't know how we have to leeway everything into AI, because once AI starts, it's just gonna take over everything, and people are just gonna get lazy. People are just not going to have the drive, because I feel as it is, technology is making us lazier.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, for example, this Miyazaki dude being so offended by the fact that everybody is AI generating his images, and I understand that, you know, he
You
has
just
taken.
brought him down to
No, I'm not bringing it down. I
this
just,
dude.
This dude, yeah.
I just feel like
He's made like half of our childhoods. Show some respect to the name.
he has not made my childhood. I've never, like, I've watched some of his stuff. I know how much people adore his work,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that,
Definitely.
I'm just saying that, don't you sometimes think you should take a chill pill? I understand you've created great art, but like AI generated Ghibli pictures for Instagram is just for fun. It doesn't mean you don't have to take it so seriously, bro. Just people are just, it's a trend. It's going to be trending on reels for like fucking 5 minutes, and then it's never going to come back.
Yeah,
And there's going to be the
that's-
next big, like
okay,
there's going to
but
be something else.
artists, I feel, are one of the most. Okay, this is kind, but
yeah.
I feel like they are very self. Yeah, narcissistic kind of. They're very self-obsessed, and I
Okay.
feel like for them to create something, you have to have a certain level of confidence to be like, yeah, what I've created is really good.
Okay.
And he is one of those artists where he knows he has
And he
created.
like owns it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's his trademark, because it has a whole, like, you know how Disney has a whole trademark to it, like Ghibli as it is, it's like has a whole name to itself. So I feel like he's earned that right to be like, yeah, how dare you create like fake images in the name of my art. So it's
Maybe if you change the name.
oh
Jubbly. AI generated Jubbly.
yeah. But artists are like that. So do you know?
Yeah, but just because artists are like that, like I feel like even artists, like I feel like everything is art. Like for example, when people say talk about a Quentin Tarantino movie, okay, or a Steven Spielberg movie, that's art,
Yeah.
100%. But even a Rohit Shetty masala movie is also art.
Yeah.
Like
It's just different
he-
expressions.
Yeah,
it's
it has a
different
different
expressions of
audience
art.
for-
But
yeah.
like artists have this ability to sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times look down on like other kinds of art.
Okay,
For
so
example, if I go to Biennale in which happens in Kochi every 2 years, like I don't understand any of the art. There's like fridges flying around, and there's one room with like water. There's like room with water where if you're walking in, it's just a it's just a building flooded with water, but it's actually an expression of how like refugees feel when they cross like Africa into
okay,
Europe.
I get that.
No, wait, let me finish.
Okay.
Or like a war-torn country into Europe, and that's an expression, and I respect that. I'm like, okay, I didn't understand it when I saw it, but that is your artistic expression, and I, as a YouTuber who makes vlogs on the internet, I agree.
Yeah.
But then, usually artists have this thing that
They
my
tend to
art,
look down
yeah,
on
they
different
tend to,
types of art,
yeah, they tend
for
to look down
sure.
on different kinds of art,
Yeah.
right? They're like, oh, he's just a real creator.
Yeah,
how
like
much?
an
How much?
abs-
How much?
For example,
yeah.
if it's coming to paintings, like I feel like some like abstract artist will like
Yeah.
look down on something else, and they're like, that doesn't make sense, or that's like a juvenile piece of art. There's always like a classification in that, and I don't know
So
if it
that's
applies to
egos
everyone.
clashing between artists, but how do you consider ChatGPT as an artist itself? So that's just mimicking,
Dude, the
copying
guy
it.
who created, how is it mimicking and copying? Like,
It
it's
is-
all, it's
it
all,
is.
like, you're telling me that Miyazaki dude, like, he must have had inspiration from somewhere, right? And it's not like anybody's creating art and, profiting off this. I'm telling you, it's just an Instagram trend. It's going
Which
to
is
die.
literally going to
By the time this
pass.
podcast is over, it's going to be
Yeah, it's
dead.
over.
That's true, but I feel like it was a statement created that such a big artist had his work completely stolen and we can't do anything about it. Say someone who's a small creator creates something which is so like out of the box or whatever, and some AI just mimics that art, and then he won't have the power to do anything about it himself. So
Yeah.
what is the difference?
I also feel like with art, like, or anything for that. Like, it doesn't matter if you're creating content or you're doing paintings or anything. There's always imitation attached to it, right? Like the risk of imitation or copying or anything. Because you can always put a twist to a painting or a twist to a video and then call it yours, and you're allowed to do that. So I just feel like even though this is like a intensified version of it because it's AI, like it's bound to happen in different capacities regardless.
Yeah, like for example, when I don't know, before the industrialization happened, there were like people actually working in factories and assembling, small little products.
Yeah,
But now then
yeah.
industrialization happened, machines started doing a lot of the
A
things.
lot of the things.
A lot of
yeah.
people lost jobs, but like that's how you, that's
Yeah.
that's the price of development, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't.
I get it, but like the artist industry as it is not a very well paying. So if you look at the pay in animation itself in Japan, they're one of the most underpaid work. Like they have extreme hours. So I don't know how it is now, but early when the animation like scene started, they were paid on, I think, how many sheets of paper they draw or
Draw.
something like that. And it's a lot of work because to individually draw each sheet takes a lot of time, and despite all of that they were still heavily underpaid. And if
But
AI comes and then they just take over it, so like that's losing.
yeah, but I just feel like it's just you saying, "Oh, life is unfair," and life is unfair. So
Life
that's how
is
life
unfair, but
It's just like
But see, like, think
it's like
about
just
it,
because
like,
you take more effort and
they-
time to create something doesn't
they
mean that's better than
anticipate
something
that,
which.
like, people anticipate that steel can now be made into sheets with AI. Like, that you literally don't need a person to monitor anything. People also think, I mean, like, AI is coming into surgeries, into an industry like marketing. AI can teach, robots can come do that. So, like, isn't everyone losing their jobs? Isn't everyone getting underpaid
I
eventually?
feel like a bunch of doctors can lose their job. They're getting paid enough for it, but then
Oh, so you don't like doctors?
nothing
Okay,
against
that's
doctors.
where you draw the line. Artists, we need to pay them better.
Thumbnail.
Yeah, but doctors, I hate them.
No, that's not what I meant. But yeah, like you cannot compare, I feel, like a very high paid doctor to an artist who's barely making like their living. So
But you can compare
but
a
the-
senior cardiologist to Michelangelo, right?
No, but like that's what, right? Just because the artist is not getting paid well, but I feel like the problem with artists is they're like, oh, my art is great. I'm putting it out there in the world, but it's also your ability to sell that art. It's your ability to market that art. You can't just draw like beautiful paintings and keep it in your house and then nobody
Yeah,
sees it or buys
like
it.
I've mixed opinions about that because even with the right marketing, it can be tricky.
yeah, it can be.
Just because I feel like with art, like it's so subjective. Honestly, for me, I've never been like an enthusiast in the sense that if I look at something, I will appreciate that someone did this, but like I don't understand anything beyond that. Like I'm very clueless when it comes to it, so I try to like not refrain from talking about it too much. But I do think that even if you market an art really well, like ultimately that I'm not sure how exactly it would work, but there are like certain parts of it that wouldn't pan out even if you have that marketing.
Yeah,
Just 'cause-
obviously it's a struggle. Obviously, like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not like
100%.
No, but
yeah.
I
once
do
you reach
get
a certain level,
his-
you can like do
Yeah,
one
but I
line
get
also.
I
Then
get
people
your
buy
point,
it.
because ultimately
so-
you can't just keep it in your house or frame it up and then have like an art gallery and expect people to walk in and out. Like you have to sell it ultimately. So
Yeah, no, I feel like art is very subjective, and it also depends on the circle of people that are like you, who you market the art to. So I feel like it's a very upper class category because I mean, this is kind of a stretch and kind of not related. So I did art in school for my GCSEs, and so everyone in my class got a D for their GCSEs in 10th grade.
For
and
art.
Yeah, as for our board exams.
Your
And
board exams for art.
what do you have to say about that? Yeah,
I don't think you should speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can say what you want about women, but don't.
all I said, that's all I said. Now the comments will take care of the rest.
You are a content creator. You don't want to do this.
Yeah, what are you saying?
I make videos. I don't like. For me, I don't understand the oh, like I'm an artist. Oh, I need to struggle. Oh,
I just
yeah.
love.
Like I just make videos, bro. It's not that
Just for
complicated.
your
It's not
information,
that fucking
I
complicated.
did science plus art. I was self-studying art.
Wait,
Congratulations,
have you guys watched
congratulations.
Big Bang Theory?
I watched like bits and
No, I
bobs.
Okay,
haven't.
so
I
there's
watched
this
Young
one
Sheldon.
part where this, I don't know if you know this character called Stuart, who is like
Is he the
the comic
brainiac?
book store owner.
Oh no.
He basically just makes like like appearances, cameos throughout the show, and he is like known to be this like loner who's always like, he's not like he's always in debt. He's always has health issues. That's the vibe he gives out. Okay, and he always talks about it as well. So one day he's like, oh, I'm an artist, and then the like one of the others were like, just because you're starving doesn't mean you're an artist.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, what was I saying?
Yeah, yeah. Board exam art class. Yes, go for it.
Yeah, so but one of our seniors had gone to a field trip to like a big school in Delhi or somewhere, I'm not sure. And she was saying like they had some mediocre looking portfolios, but they were all on the upper B's to A's. And so they were saying like the people who graded, it was a lot of from what school you came from rather than what you had. But I don't know, I could be wrong also. But that's what she felt. So I feel like art, if you market it towards a certain class of people, it will do better than someone who's just. But I feel like social media has now like helped that.
Come up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel like anyone with something really
show
amazing, yeah,
can.
we created a platform for it to showcase to the whole world,
Yeah.
which we previously didn't have.
Right.
Can't wait to AI generate some Ghibli art after this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, guys. Next question I have is: we Indians have this thing where, like, it's very different in the West. For example, when we grow up, we go to school, then like primary school, high school, then we go to college, and then like after you go to college, you still sometimes don't move out from your parents' house.
Yeah.
Then you, after like 5 years, 6 years, or whatever years of college, then you start finding work. Like you get a job,
Yeah.
and then maybe you move out. But it's very different in the West. Like in the West, like once you're done with high school,
You're
mostly people,
expected to just
yeah, expected to move out,
work.
find your own job, even if it's a part-time job, do
Yeah,
college. So, what do you think is the right age for, like, you guys are 21 each. You guys are going through that right now. So, what do you think is the correct age to like move out slash get a job to sustain yourself and not take money from your parents? That's incredibly unprofessional. Fucking put it on
My
silent.
brother, you go. I
Put it on silent. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So I feel like cause this is so like ingrained in us that we grow up in this exact way where we're like, okay, we'll finish high school, we'll get into college, then we're gonna get a job. And even if you get a job, it's so highly unlikely that I see people move out. I just feel like till they get married, it's not like intrinsically seen for them to think about moving out. I personally think that living alone can like change you a lot as a person. So I think that like I would want to live alone soon. But when you ask me for an age bracket, it's a very tricky question because I just feel like there's people that are doing so well for themselves at like 20, 21, 22, and they're probably making enough money to move out to cut off from their parents to be able to do things for their parents and all of that. There is also another bracket of people that are still trying to find the job they want, still trying to figure out what works for them. And maybe in their late 20s, maybe in their late 30s, you never know when you find your place. But I also think that there is a point in your life when you start to become too comfortable and you're just easygoing. There's food at home, rent is paid for, things are taken care of. If you have health issues, there's someone right near you looking after you. It's okay to have that and to rely on that because ultimately, like, I'm sure our parents don't mind doing that for us to a large extent. But I also think that when we fall back on that too much, like, so many other aspects are triggered and, like, kind of changed. I feel like you might not even want to do better at work, get bigger, because you're like, oh, I have everything I need. So what more could I want? So I'd say for me, if you're in your like 27, 26, like between 25 and 28, personally think that if you moved out of your house, you would have a lot of growth. But I think that's very subjective to people where they're in life, how it's financially, how it is in every aspect, how comfortable they are with their parents, all of that.
What about you, Leah?
Yeah, so I feel like everyone should start like at least part times or something like that, at least from the age of 15 onwards,
Yeah.
because like when you move out and you start working, it all hits you at one go, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's just not a healthy thing, because especially in our generation, I feel like we're a bit more sheltered than the
100%,
older
yeah.
generation, and we've had things much easier
Yeah.
in life. So if for us to just be in an environment where we're expected to work, and because we're considered adults, so they're not going to treat us with
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
leniency as we did before, and move out, so it's going to be really difficult for us. So I feel like if we have the culture, I mean, we don't have it in India, but
Like it could be inculcated.
yeah,
'cause
so
it's- yeah.
in Japan, I think they have a culture of doing part time, like from middle school onwards.
From middle school.
I mean, I do see middle schoolers work part time, but
Where?
it's
Where?
because the place I work at, I think I have like a 15-year-old, as well as like an 18-year-old.
No, but 15 is not middle school, it's high school.
Yeah.
15.
15 is 10th grade.
Yeah, 15 is
Oh.
10th grade.
And I also like, I feel like part time should definitely be inculcated. People should work from a young age
Yeah.
to have their work ethic, be able to
Because
earn on their own and all
I
of
have
that.
seen the growth of when these kids, oh my god, kids. It's weird for me to say that, but I have seen the growth where they were extremely bratty and just like they just couldn't adjust to an environment, because once you go to a part-time, there are certain things where you just have to suck up to your boss. You just have to like take shit from them or
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Obviously you shouldn't take shit from them if it's not yeah, but I'm saying in general there are certain things like how to keep the status quo of an environment.
Yeah.
And these kids were so difficult initially. Like they were just always giving my manager a hard time. It's like he was running a nursery.
But what is his job like?
Oh, it's just a cashier job. So, and so these people, so it's a cashier job. So you handle customers a lot, right? So and some of these kids early on stages of when they first started, they did not have basic common sense on how to treat a customer, or they were just not like, I don't know, like how you treat a human. I feel like these kids just did not have that,
Yeah.
and
Like
as
the interpersonal skills.
yeah,
to
they
deal
just
with
did not have
yeah.
it. And then as time grew, and then like they obviously get used to the situation and whatever, and then my manager's like, that's not how you do it, this is that, and then it genuinely taught them how to be, I feel like, much more mature. They're
Yeah.
still immature, I feel, but I feel like they'll get there. But they're definitely, it's heartwarming to see how these bratty kids grew up to be
Yeah,
like
no,
a bit more.
100%. I also think like working part time, kind of having your own little income, no matter how small or
Yeah,
big
so
it is.
yeah, so these kids all work to get their like fancy nails done or
Yeah,
whatever. Like
Like they don't need the money. It's
They
just,
don't need
like,
the
it's
money.
It's a side hustle basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good way of parenting too, because your parents should give you like, a house, the roof over your head, education, whatever. That's basic needs a parent should give. But I do get if like a household is not able to afford the lifestyle the kid could have wanted from seeing social media or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So if the kid wants to go out on his own and just make the extra money to
Yeah.
get
I also
That's-
feel like with how much, I wouldn't even say kids, honestly, anybody in their like early 20s or maybe like 15 to 20, with how much they spend, I think it'd be nice if they realize how hard it is to make that
yeah,
money.
exactly. So it also it's funny to say because
Including
earlier,
me. Like,
yeah,
I'm-
earlier, so we have a lot of fancy things, not fancy things, we have like things that we'd want to buy from our store, and then early on they'll be like, yeah, I want that, this, and then after a while they'll be like, that's 1 hour of my work when they see the
Yeah.
price and stuff. So it's funny to
in
see that
India,
growth.
though, like I feel like if part time was something that was encouraged,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be something that could be encouraged realistically when they're 15. I
Yeah,
feel
'cause
like
it's
that is
not
something that
safe.
can be encouraged when they're like 17, 18. But even then, I feel like that would be great. You know, like you're going to college and doing part time. Like if that's encouraged, I
But
think it's great.
but
Yeah,
why do you think it's not prevalent in India? Like, what makes India a hard place for? Is it
Because
the way
it's
Indians
because
think
it's the way Indians
because like
think. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm so sorry if I'm cutting you off,
No, no,
but
it's fine.
I used to do dishwasher jobs initially in
in
Japan, and
Japan?
yeah, and when I went there and did dishwasher jobs, it's not a big deal for anyone because I feel like whatever like influential family you came from, there were people that did those kind of part-time jobs at a young age.
Yeah.
But like if I went back home and told these like my family members, like
In
the
India.
old yeah in India, the older family members, they would be like, "Wait, why are you doing that? Like,
Yeah.
that's not a good thing. Like you come from such a well-groomed family or whatever." So that mindset is there.
So, but you're saying that in like Japanese culture, that for them every job is equal.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that about them. From so even if you go to a company, from the CEO to the small clerk, everyone will do a cleaning job. Like they don't have, so in schools in Japan they don't have janitors.
that's crazy.
So the
That's
kids,
insane.
yeah, they don't have janitors. So the kids in the classroom every week are assigned two kids who clean up the classrooms, who do certain jobs, and that's ingrained in them from such a young age. So they don't see such jobs as like below
lesser.
them. Yeah,
Like, yeah.
and
Dude,
that
that is crazy.
Dude, that's actually insane.
yeah, and it's so nice to see because when you come here, like if you expect someone to like sweep the floor or whatever, it's seen as beneath them and they wouldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. No,
But, yeah.
100%. And I feel like that applies to so many things, right? Like, even if it's someone that's helping you out, say, with like a document process or anything, I just feel like if you see like a younger person helping out with something at, like, say, an office at a official government office or anything, there's automatically like a derogatory tone in the way people speak to
Yeah.
people. There's kind of a disrespect seen if they're not as like it's almost like it's classified what jobs are acceptable and what's not. So I definitely feel like that is a tricky thing to yeah, that's a tricky thing to kind of understand or accept, but like it would be great if we could do that.
Yeah, it'll help everyone coexist much easier too because like I feel like in India we have a huge boy girl segregation from school itself. Like there's they don't really encourage us to talk to guys or
The
like
opposite sex.
yeah.
In
So I feel like, I mean, I don't know how this correlates, but like if we're put in an environment where everyone's expected to do work and we don't like, it's not seen as anything else, I feel like it'll help our society blend more.
Yeah. And generally as well, like I feel like I'm not saying it's the sole reason, but like the whole boy girl segregation, I personally think contributes to many issues that could have been avoided. Like, for instance, I feel like if you're like 5 years old till like you're 17 years old, you're told to stay away from boys, then you're never going to see them as just one of you.
Yeah.
And they're never going to see you as one of them. It's always going to be some sort of a difference or like an expectation out of it. I guess that's something that could be changed.
But when we're expected to move out, that's a bit more tricky question because
but wait, before we move out,
yeah.
why did you start working? Like, what got you into like? Okay, you obviously moved to Japan. You have a very comfortable life here. Obviously, you decided to study in Japan. Then why did you decide to work part time or like
There.
yeah? Like, what made you want to work?
I didn't want, so yeah, I didn't want to put the extra headache on my mom. So my mom's a single mom. My parents are separated, and she supports me for my tuition and everything. So I don't want that extra baggage on her. So if it's easier by working and making my extra this thing for my rent or whatever, it's just I feel like it puts me at ease too. And I'm glad that I do work part time because it toned me down and put me to ground much more because I was extremely naive and sheltered, and like I had my mom do everything for me when I was a kid. Like I was glued to her. Like everyone says like they're tied to a hip because from like if my mom is driving and No, if like say there's three people in a car, my mom's in the passenger, I'm in the back, and someone else is driving. My mom momentarily gets out, I start freaking out. I'm like, oh no, it's someone else. Or like from the Aadhaar office to like small documents, even to getting an X-ray done or anything, I have relied on my mom to do everything for me. Like even if I had to do something or bank related or anything, I need my mom as mental support to be there, and I physically couldn't do anything without her. So when I moved to Japan, it was such a big shock for me because I am not only in a country where I have to do everything alone, but it's also an environment where I don't speak the language
Right.
fluently.
Yeah.
So it was a big, like, it took a lot of effort from my side, which I like previously had
Yeah, yeah.
none of. So it was good for sure, and I'm glad that I went to Japan to do that because I feel like it's an extreme side of the situation. Because
No,
if I went to like US or UK, like if I was speaking the language, I would have definitely met Malayalis or someone else.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
for
who would
sure.
have made me less alienated for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
glad.
sense.
But I have a question.
Why
Why
are
are
you
you
smiling?
smiling?
I have a question because obviously you come from a certain kind of economic background. You come from a certain family. I mean, we all do. Um, so when you say you went to study in a place like Japan, obviously, which is not a place normally Indians would go to study, especially because of the language barrier. You chose a place like that, obviously, for whatever reason. I think you liked Japan a lot, so you wanted to go study there. And then you went there and you decided to work because you wanted to take the onus off your mom and support yourself as well, you know? So, obviously, good thing. But you have
Good
friends.
thing.
Good thing.
Good
But
thing.
you also have friends because you know you're from a certain community. You are friends of an equivalent economic background who have gone to um, countries to study. Obviously, that is also comes from a place of privilege. Like you know, you go to UK to study, go to US to study, wherever, right?
I
It
still
takes a
don't
lot.
understand why he was smiling.
Yeah.
I'm just a happy
It's
guy.
getting worse, bro. I
So-
can feel it.
So, the people, are, kids, your classmates, your schoolmates, whatever, have gone to study in these places. Um, but they haven't fully immersed themselves in that culture, whichever culture they have gone to. They have not done any part-time jobs. They have not basically humbled themselves. Basically, they're rich and bratty still. What do you feel is the basic difference? Like that's all I want to know.
Okay,
I
so
understood why he was
yeah,
smiling.
now I understand.
Everything, dude, everything was
I just
so
thought
like,
about certain
everything was so well constructed, politically correct, and then he was like rich and bratty.
I mean, they are.
Okay.
See, there's nothing. I personally believe, like, there's nothing
No, but
wrong in
I-
being
yeah,
rich and bratty.
Because I
Because
have my friends too who I love them to death. I would die for them. But from an objective point
They're
of
rich and
view,
bratty?
they are rich and bratty.
Gotcha.
And see, I love people. I was a poster child of rich and bratty, so I'm not one of those people
Who's
where
like,
where
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, my life was really hard. No, my life was fucking comfortable. Anytime I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
money, my dad would send me money. I've
Yeah.
never part-time worked, never done anything
Yeah, yeah.
which required hard work, right?
Yeah.
So I am on their team. I just want to know the difference between a person who
Did it and who didn't?
didn't, yeah. Like
Okay.
how is your life view changed? Because I'm assuming before you went to college, your life view and their life view would have roughly been the same, right?
Sure.
But obviously you went and you had a sense of growth. They might not have had that. They'll have that later in their life, whenever. Like everybody's on their own journey, right? But like, what's the difference?
Again, it is,
You said that so well.
yeah.
Um,
It
too
has
good.
a lot to do with the economic background of their family because I would say up until middle school, before my parents got separated, like I was on the rich bratty side. Then after they got separated, it was kind of difficult. So when I went to college, like I know that I have to support myself because my parents aren't going to be there forever. And if I rely on them like continuously, it's going to put me in a much more lenient mindset
Yeah.
too. Like I wouldn't work harder for it if I continued being supported by them. And also I do have friends around me who choose not to work or whatever, because they don't have to. They genuinely don't have to, because their parents can support them without it leaving a dent on them.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that either,
Of course.
because their parents would have grinded to an extreme level, because I know my mom's friends who didn't come from a pretty wealthy background or whatever. They have made whatever they made for their kids, so they could not think about
That.
the difficulties of life or whatever. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with these rich bratty snobby kids.
She added snobby.
Yeah, so- Guys, I didn't add snobby in case you're watching.
That was not her.
No, it's nice to see, because if I had that lifestyle too, I would not work again. But I feel like going to Japan, everyone works regardless of where you're from or what
your
you do,
economic
yeah.
Yeah, but do you
background
feel a
is.
difference between, like, obviously what I'm trying to say is you guys are all in one school or one environment, and then you left to study in different parts of the world. You had a very different life experience compared to these kids. How do you think it has shaped you in comparison to them? Like, what do you see any difference?
Obviously, so yeah, me and Nisu talk about it all the time, because like we have the same circle of friends. Like when we see certain people, we're like, wow, the privilege is crazy. So the issue for me is not when they spend their money. It's when they spend their money and expect the surrounding people who cannot spend their money to also spend money. Or like, I don't know how to phrase this
No,
nicely, but
yeah.
like, everyone's having a hard time in their life. So sometimes these on the wealthier side, they are just so not aware. They are
Yeah,
so
they are-
gullible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, could you give me an example? Like, I mean, example as in, like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so I feel like they're like extremely like oblivious to things around them, and what someone might be going through is honestly secondary. They just don't see anything beyond the bubble that they're in. And like I'm not like looking down on this. I come from a place of luckily of privilege, but I'm just saying that like I've seen it firsthand where, like, for example, say someone's going out to a restaurant, there's a bunch of friends, they're like maybe 17, 18 years old, it's a nice restaurant, everyone's paying for what they got, probably because someone that's more careful with money or needs to be more careful with money is paying for something they got, because they're like, okay, that's, I thought about how much I'm going to spend before I got it. And someone else who would have ordered like 3 things and just wanted to go crazy and probably didn't even eat that, decides to be like, oh yeah, let's split it equally.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's something that's very unfair to do, in every capacity. Like whether it's a restaurant or whether it doesn't matter, right? You have to be a little sensitive to everything. It doesn't like you don't even need to be like ultra wealthy or ultra rich for you to be in that position. I feel like many people do act from that place, so it is just something that
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also like it's small things like so a wealthier person, they'll be like, oh, just do you have like this much amount? Just pay for me. I'll give it to you later, and then it just wouldn't cross their
cross
mind
their mind.
later
That
to
maybe
oh
that
yeah
other person might not have, or
And
like,
then like
what
it may not cross their mind that this person might not have that
yeah.
money.
So
or
like it
the
might
per-
it might
yeah.
have been her last 200 rupees that out of
yeah, out of
gratitude,
niceness
yeah,
you do
they're
that.
giving
And
it
then
to
like there's no, I don't know if like everyone has a concept of like savings and investment
Yeah.
and thinking about things like that, right? So
So even an extremely rich person, it's not wrong for them to be like, oh, she didn't give me back the 200 rupees, because that's just how they save money. Like how
Yeah,
you said,
yeah,
it's their
100%.
concept of how they value money too.
Yeah.
So it's just, I feel like a certain like group of people, they just don't consider
Yeah.
that these small things add up for certain people.
Okay, but is it only based on money, or like?
No, I don't think so, because yeah, if you take
No, no. It's no. What I mean to say is, like, obviously, I'm not there. Like, you work at it's a grocery store, right? So obviously, you're at the cashier counter. So when you say, it did a lot of good for me, it brought me down to ground. In some sort of way, it is like not just for you, but like even those kids from privileged families in Japan who go through that. It's a humbling experience, because there you're just an employee. Like nobody cares what your family background is or how much
Yeah.
money you have in the bank or
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
right?
what. So for me, they just think like I'm an Indian who's just working
Yeah,
part time.
exactly.
Yeah.
They don't care who you are, whatever.
Exactly. So, but that also changes the way you treat people, right? Does that is there a difference between you and the people who have like unimaginable wealth, how they treat people, or that's pretty sorted? Like you're saying, like you both gave me examples of okay, it was very related to money.
Yeah.
Like for example, in a coffee
No,
shop.
but I get what you're saying, like behavioral terms as well.
Yeah.
I feel like having money and not having money definitely contributes to it. Um, I also feel like, in a sense of like having money, you, regardless of whether you're coming from a good place, like from a good place, and you're like, oh yeah, let me treat my friends, like I can do this, so I will. And coming from the place where you're like, oh, like you don't even have to worry about, like in a condescending way, where they're like, oh, you don't have to worry about it, like I'll pay for everything, that sort of thing. Regardless of whatever that is, whether it's money or not, they are a little bit desensitized to how to behave in certain circumstances. But I can't say that, like, it's not a generic statement of rich people or people that are wealthy or in a good economic background. I do think that happens to some people because they come from the level of privilege where, at least this is my understanding of it, that many things in their life was probably associated with that wealth and that privilege, or transactional to that wealth and privilege. And I just feel like they were probably raised in many points of their life where anything with value was associated with money. So I feel like they tend to act like that out of that place as opposed to anything else. But yeah, like I wouldn't fully generalize and say it's only people that are wealthy that act like that. There's
Yeah, but I mean, I do feel like
Yeah,
poor,
They are more pro.
they are not only.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
I absolutely
like poor people are more happier. I feel
Who?
Huh?
poor people are more happier. I feel,
Are you saying that money doesn't buy you happiness?
of course, 100%.
Then why do you say that poor people are happier?
Money doesn't buy you happiness.
Oh, you're saying money doesn't buy
no,
you
no.
happiness.
Did you not hear me?
Oh, I thought you said money does buy you happiness.
No, no. See, but obviously,
But why do you think money doesn't buy you happiness?
I can surround myself with all the jewelry I want. It doesn't like account to the fact that like I have no friends in life. That's just not.
That's what he was waiting for. That's gonna be a reel. Tomorrow morning, that's gonna be a
I'm
reel.
so good at this.
He's like, I have done it.
See, I have tried. So, also disclaimer: it might seem like I have a very flashy lifestyle or whatever from what I wear, or like
Are
I'm
you
just
agreeing? What was the
No.
move?
No, I'm
So-
like, go on.
yeah. But these are stuff that I have worked hard for and I have bought out of my own money. Okay, so
Do they make you happy?
that's what I was getting into.
Basically, he said, "Shut the fuck up, man. Let me finish."
So I have realized no matter what I put on, what I wear, or how I make myself look, then what? It's not like I have anyone to be like, oh my god, look what I'm wearing. Or, you know, like, because I very much value the time I spend in Kochi when I come back from vacation from Japan, because I do not have a single friend in Japan. Like, I love the country or whatever, but like that's where I go to like semester pure. Like I have 2 jobs. I go to class. Yeah, day and night I'm just like doing what I have to do. I have no form of enjoyment or whatever. But then the minute I step back home, then I take advantage of every privilege I have here.
Yeah.
Like I sleep. So if you know, I sleep at 4 a.m. and I sleep till like 2 p.m. and I sleep the whole day. I make my mom do everything for me. I love my mom, but she does everything for me, and the people I have surrounded myself with, like I'm genuinely grateful for them. Like
You're welcome. Yeah.
the people I have surrounded myself with.
I feel like this is a surrounding. That is just a person on
There's
the
a
left.
reason why I chose to sit on this side, and you have 2 teddy bears next to you. Okay.
Meet Sean the sheep, guys.
Yeah, that's Sean the sheep and Otter.
That's all of Ria's friends in Japan.
Yeah, actually, those are my only two friends. I have them on my bag that I carry.
Okay, I want to come back to this friendship aspect of things because, like, I have
Because
something.
you want to just.
No, because I also have a story which is very similar to hers.
Okay.
But before that, I want to speak about money. Does money buy you happiness?
Okay.
Like,
This is,
like
no,
you
this
hear.
is very like tricky, but I'll explain exactly what I think of it.
Mm.
I don't like when I buy something, it doesn't bring me. It brings me happiness, okay, but it doesn't give me any sort of contentment. So like I'm not holistically like content that oh yeah, like I have the money to go buy this, so I'm gonna go buy it. Regardless of whether like yeah, like the day I buy a fire car, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, like that happened. I'm gonna be happy. But there's no sense of like completion for me in that. Um but like don't get me wrong, I love shopping, I love buying things. I get very excited every time I have something new. Just like everyone. Uh but like if it comes down to the question, no, like it's not something that buys me happiness. But at the end of the day, I do think that the world goes around in money. It's something that's inevitable. It's not something that you can be like, oh yeah, like I will live in a hut on the hills and just, like kill it in life there. Like you can if you want to, but I just feel like the world does go around in money. It's not something that brings me like contentment, but sure, like instant happiness, of course. If I buy a new pair of shoes, I'm gonna be happy about it.
No, but for example, you're struggling for money. Wouldn't
Yeah.
that make you unhappy?
Of course it would. But it wouldn't make me as a person unhappy. Like, it would give me instances where I'm unhappy, where I'm stressed, where I'm anxious, where I feel bad.
You're saying
But
that it's like one aspect of it.
yeah, it's just solely one aspect of it. Because, like, honestly, if you asked me this 2, 3 years back, like, my answer would have been a little different. Because, like, I was also I was a little bit materialistic, and like getting things I wanted made me happier than the person I was. I'm not trying to make this too deep, but like now it's kind of a place where that's all additions to life, and like great additions, which I'm so grateful for and excited for. But the happiness doesn't rely on that. So if like when I'm struggling, I feel like I will be so like disastrous, and I'll be crying and I'll be losing my shit. But at the end of the day, like I can't directly associate my peace and happiness to the money I get. It does make things better though. I agree.
What about you? Does money equate to?
Money brings me tremendous happiness.
But I have a
You know what they
question.
say, right? It is better to cry in a Porsche instead of crying in your cycle. I fucking agree with that.
Anytime someone asks me if money makes you happy, that's the first thing I think of, that post. But then
Yeah.
I would rather cry in my matte black Ferrari. And I'm like, yeah, so would I, bro.
But
No,
Um,
I feel like I genuinely like.
no,
I've
but I
seen-
feel like when it comes to money, like the grass is always greener on the other side. Because
100%.
so, okay, like maybe 5 months ago, I would have been like, I wanted this specific shoes from this brand. I get those shoes and I see something much
And then you're
pricier.
like, I want that.
I want
Yeah.
that, and then it just never ends.
Even in
with
terms
me.
of
Never ends, yeah.
lifestyle, right? Like
Yeah.
no matter what lifestyle you're living in or attaining, there's always something better out
Yeah.
there that you want.
And for me, I don't know how it is for you guys. I feel like a part of it comes from seeing other rich people or other people on social media. Because when I see them have it, and I'm like, oh wait,
yeah.
I kind of want it too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like I feel like when I was in school and I was just surrounded by idiotic friends who like we used to just see each other and we were all in uniform where we just didn't. When you're in uni, you have to dress up.
Yeah.
And people are dressed up in different outfits every day, and you're like, oh shit, I have to up my
keep
game.
up, yeah.
Yeah, but when you're in school, it's just everything's more uniform and everything's just easier. We don't think about anything. Just go to school, we just see them, and then we just complain about school.
Yeah.
It's just much easier. But then I grew up, and I'm like, it's just never ending. The things I want just never ends. And
100%.
Yeah, and
like
I get-
every day
yeah.
you want a new thing. Like even when I sit with Sharan, like in a span of 15
Yeah,
minutes,
like,
I'll
so-
want 30 different
exactly.
things.
So
like,
for the thing is, I don't even like jerseys, but when he
yeah,
buys
when
jerseys,
dude, the
I'm
same
like-
thing happened to me.
like the
He-
plastic material like makes me
Hey,
go.
hey. Okay, go on.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
but,
like,
like-
we were literally, I don't remember what day it was. He was wearing a Madrid jersey, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm like, I kind of understand the hype. And then I'm like, are you stupid? You don't watch football.
That's
You
I don't
know
watch
anything.
football or
You don't even
anything.
like jersey. Oh, bro, yeah. You always just want more things.
Yeah, it's just I don't want. I've never had a thing for sunglasses. I used to find people who wear sunglasses pretentious, but when you wear them every day, I'm like, fuck, I want one too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know once I get them,
You're
I
not
want
really-
something else.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending cycle, honestly.
I feel like, for me, I've seen like both sides of the coin, like being rich, not having money, um, and I genuinely believe money is extremely important.
I
Like,
truly believe
yeah,
that too.
but
I
it's
will
not just in
deny.
terms of like I've seen aspects where people say good manners are important, and obviously they're important, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
your
no.
ethics are important. But like people also treat you based on the amount of money you have. People
Like, no
treat you
doubt.
on the basis of what clothes you wear,
Yeah.
how you look.
Yeah. Even if someone important, you need to take a meeting with them. If you walk in looking stupid,
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
can literally
Yeah.
deny to see you.
But I know a lot of
but,
rich
like,
people that dress.
insane. Yeah, no,
Like
like there's
terribly.
yeah.
No, but that's also they could be dressing like that because they have so much money that they don't really need to go in a
No,
meeting.
no, not like that.
Or like
I'm-
flashy.
Flashy.
Yeah.
And
so
tacky.
so that those are the rich people who want to show off that they're rich,
That
right?
they're
Like that
rich,
is that is where
It's
they're
actually, I've heard so much that those are the people that's likely not
To
as
be
wealthy.
rich, yeah.
as wealthy as
as-
they, of
yeah.
course, like
Or they just
Yeah.
recently attained
Attained
certain
a
amount
big
of wealth,
chunk of
yeah.
money. Yeah.
yeah. But like I've seen both. Like I love big brands. I love T-shirts with like big fucking logos on them. But
Just
that's because
test them.
I worked for it. Like that's my personal.
Yeah,
liking.
yeah, and you're allowed to have that.
Yeah, but I don't think like being poor sucks. I
No,
being
y-
poor sucks in the sense that when your constant aim in life is to make money
Make
and to
money,
survive,
yeah.
a lot of your other like there are no other thoughts because it's just survival,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, so when I mean that being poor, like I'm not saying being poor equates to happiness or whatever, because in the end of the day, when there was a time like we didn't have that much money, like I used to be like, oh, I would like to, take my mom out for dinner somewhere nice or whatever. Like those are the things where I feel like when it hits you the most, you genuinely want
Yeah.
it, because once you reach a certain level, you don't think like that
Think like
anymore. It's
that
just all
anymore, yeah,
materialistic
yeah.
wealth we acquire.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, like my mom always says, like for her, wealth equals to just, going out for dinner, eating whatever she wants, and just not having to think twice about it. That equals to wealth for her. But I feel like for us, it's just what we wear
Yeah.
or like
But
what
that's
we
the
No, I
thing.
buy.
agree.
Like that's what I was trying to say with like the whole like correlation between the money and the happiness. I just feel like having money will always make me happy. If I can like take a flight tomorrow to Nice, I'll be on top of the world. I'll be so happy. But then I just feel like if I don't have that money, it doesn't make me unhappy. Like it sucks. I will struggle. I will be anxious. I will probably lose my mind. But I'm not an unhappy person. Like there's no direct correlation in terms of that. That's what I was trying to explain.
yeah, I mean I agree. I in a way agree with what you're saying. Even though I don't like obviously rather be rich than poor,
Yeah,
but like
any day.
but then like I feel like after a point like obviously there are like people incredibly wealthy that I know of, but if you see the amount of money I have versus the amount of money they have, the correlation of how happy I am in life and how happy they are in life, there isn't much of a difference.
Yeah.
Like they could be coming in like fucking Range Rovers and they could be
Yeah.
holidaying in Spain tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like everybody's going through shit. Everybody has the same problems. Like maybe their
100%.
family is not as nice. Maybe they don't have friends. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're going through a
Possibly.
breakup, or maybe they're like sucking up to their dad because it's their dad's money, or whatever, right? But like in that say like
Charlie just threw in as many instincts as he possibly could have thought of.
I need names for all of these.
Yeah, I was like,
afterwards.
next,
dude, everybody.
next vlog we'll ask these questions to him and ask him to say names.
I can name names. I don't give a fuck. But I feel like, but initially when I used to, like everybody has different starting points in life, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously, for example, when I started off as a creator, I already had enough privilege because I started off knowing that I have an iPhone in my pocket.
Yeah.
that itself is a privilege. There are a
Privilege,
lot of people who have to
100%.
work years so that they can buy
Buy
an
an
iPhone.
iPhone to improve their content.
Yeah. So everybody has different starting points in life. But then there was a time when I used to look at people with exceptional wealth, whether they are mostly they haven't created it, like their fathers have created it. And I'm like, fuck, what a great life to have.
Yeah.
Like, you know, can do whatever you want, like not finish college if you want, just go
Yeah.
to
Just
like
live life,
dad's
yeah.
office whenever you feel like, do like shop for whatever, like. But then are they, like you said, are they content with life? I don't think so, because like I don't think it ever stops.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with whatever I have.
Yeah,
so,
I mean-
so I don't think there's a correlation. I mean, there obviously you need to have money
You
to
need
do
to-
whatever
yeah.
you want.
Yeah. But
But like,
yeah, I'm with you on that. for
yeah,
me.
fabulously rich people don't have better lives.
They don't. Yeah.
But I would like to find out for myself. So I would like fabulous.
Yes, we'll tell you back in 10 years whether the money.
If anyone wants to put me on a show to experience extreme wealth, count me in.
Yeah. Now talking about friends, right? You said
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have any friends in Japan because you have friends here. And I know, like, I can relate to this because I studied when I grew up in Russia. Then I did my schooling here. Then I really wanted to study in college in India.
Yeah.
For like, because my friends were here, my girlfriend at that time was here, whatever reason. But I ended up like fucking up my college thing
Yeah.
process here. So I had to go back to Russia to study. And my life was divided based on, okay, I figured out that if I live in Russia and I'm studying in an American university there, I will be able to spend more time in Cochin because of the amount of holidays you have. You have
Yeah.
Easter, you have Christmas,
Yeah.
you have fucking summer vacations. I knew that I had so many holidays, so I would at least be here for like 5-6 months
Yeah.
in a year.
Yeah.
And I made sure that I make zero friends in college. Didn't even bother. Like I would go there to study, and then I would come back home and I would sit and fucking chat with my friends online or whatever.
Yeah.
Go to gym. Like I had a very like locked in lifestyle, but no friends, no having fun, because I knew like after 5 months or after every 2 months I would be able to go to Cochin and be with the
Be
best
with-
people
Yeah.
who are my school friends or whatever, right? And it was great while it lasted.
Right.
And then once I finished college, and then life happened, and for me those 12 to 15 people are like, everybody else was like beneath me. Like I'm like, I don't want to be friends with
They're
you.
all
I don't
that
care.
matters, and they
These
are the
15 to 12
elite.
people are
Yeah.
they are my people. And then one fine day I had a fight with one of them, and then I had a fight with all 14 of them, and then like I didn't have any friends.
Right.
So don't you think that you're putting all your eggs in one basket, where you're like, oh yeah, I have amazing people in Cochin, and of course they are amazing. But don't you think that... so one more thing which happened is,
Yeah, yeah.
because of my fight, I was heartbroken for several years. And then I started meeting people in other cities, meeting people from different socioeconomic backgrounds,
Yeah.
different people doing different kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then it opened my eyes to a whole new world.
Right.
Like I started thinking differently. And not just thinking differently, I was like, okay, there are other ways to live life. So don't you think that you're like closing yourself to all these new experiences where you can make friends in Japan? Like obviously you have these wonderful people here, but like, don't you think you're doing that yourself?
So that's assuming that I am not making an effort there. But so for me, after high school, so your big fallout, I had it right after high school. Like I fought with my whole group of friends, and I went to college with my best friend at that time. And like I went to Japan, and I genuinely did try, I feel, from my side. But it's just the amount of people, I mean, the people that I saw and met and hung out with, they just never clicked for me.
Yeah.
Or like I feel like maybe it was the whole, like, East Asians are drastically different from Indians.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not that, they're not Indians, that's why I'm not friends with them. Because when I was in Dubai, majority of my friends were Arabs. So I don't have an issue with like mingling outside my race or whatever. That's not the issue. It's just that the people that I met there, they just didn't, strike me in any way. But I'm not saying they're beneath me or whatever. Like if like an opportunity, like if I had a chance to be like, oh, like this person wants to hang out with me, I'll take it. But I don't think like, cause by the time, um, I feel like I'm in my third year now. It's too late.
Right.
Everyone's in their circle of friends, and people are not really like,
Welcoming.
yeah, they're not, because everyone's already settled down. It's like we're gonna graduate in a year and a half, so like they're not gonna make the effort to come single me out, because I'm a really antisocial person, and I'm not gonna go out of my way to make friends. So the friends I have in life right now here, they are the ones who genuinely annoyed the fuck out of me to come and make their, they made the effort to come to me, and like that's how I feel like they're definitely my lifelong friends, because I have gone through a lot of problems with them. I have fought with them, and I'm at the stage where we're all at like a position. So I'm not extremely close to any of these people. Like it's not like I text them every day or whatever. Apart from Nisu, like none of these people are like I have a active update on each one of their lives or anything. It's just that once in a year we all come together. We're all like half of my friends are in different parts of the world, and we do, when we do see each other, we don't have that ego attached to any of us where we're like, oh, time has lingered between us and you know we're not that close anymore. It's just we know that we've grown together at crucial like building ages of our lives, and we've seen like genuinely humiliating and embarrassing stages of our life. And despite all of that, like we don't have any form of grudges between us. So like I don't think I'm putting all my eggs in one basket or whatever, because it's not like I'm not trying there. It's just really difficult for me to make friends.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be like, oh, like I'm having the college life that I expected or whatever, because when we see in movies or whatever, everyone's like partying out of their minds or whatever. I don't have that at all. But I don't feel like I'm missing out, because
You have everything you want right
yeah,
now.
like I have the safety of like I don't crave that kind of partying or anything, and I don't know why that is, because it's not like I have partied in my life or whatever. It's just that when I do see that, it doesn't strike me in any way where like I want
Something
that.
you want.
No, but
Yeah.
I've also feel like, because I've seen you and your family and your interactions with your mom. Usually, the kids who go to college and party their fucking minds out are people who are basically locked up at home, and
Yeah.
they have not had any
I
freedom.
fully agree on that.
In fact, when I see your childhood or like your upbringing, it's very similar to mine, because like I had a house where like I started living alone. Like I had a chechi who used to look after me, but from 11th grade onwards, I was alone.
Yeah.
It's not like I had any crazy parties. When everybody used to sneak out of their house
Like,
at
you
like
could
1
just-
o'clock, I could just call my dad and
Yeah.
say,
Be
brother,
like,
I'm going out.
I'm going out,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, exactly.
So I feel like when you have that
yeah,
comfort
the
at home,
restriction definitely makes you rebellious. Like,
Yeah.
if not rebellious, like you want to experience everything all at once, and it
mm,
can really like get to you. I think at some point.
But I did it's kind of out of the question or whatever, but I did have a
you just want to say things.
yeah, I do actually, because there's no agenda in this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a technical podcast where we're giving information or anything. Okay, shut up.
Oh, you decided that. Okay, please go ahead.
No, but I did have a restrictive life up until, yeah, my parents were separated, because my dad was the typical, like, Indian restrictive Muslim guy, and despite that, I didn't feel the need to rebel,
Hmm.
because I had my mom. Because my mom was always there. Like, she's always given me whatever I wanted in life, no matter what.
Yeah.
And when they separated, she gave me, like, the freedom to do whatever I want. She thought, like, oh, like, maybe it's because I was living in that environment that I didn't make friends or whatever. So she let me do whatever I want. Because majority of my high school, I used to spend in my room.
Yeah.
But despite having both sides of that coin, I didn't feel the need to be like,
Yeah.
I need to go out
That makes
and
sense. Yeah.
party.
I mean, I agree with whatever you're saying, especially with
But I
How
do
you spoke.
understand, like, yeah, because my mom gave me that freedom. I feel like during my high school years, where people are more rebellious, I didn't need I didn't have the need to be like, okay, I need to do this, otherwise I'll never get the opportunity to. Because I have seen my own friends where they have restrictive parents and they go crazy once there's like a party with alcohol, and I'm like, why do you drink to that extent? Like, it doesn't feel fun
Like
for me
breathe,
or
like
you.
the,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
What about you?
What about me?
As a person who obviously you have a lot of friends here, she's fucking popular, guys. Like if you hang out over 5 minutes, she's messaging on like every fucking app, even on the weather app. If she could text somebody, she would fucking text. Like we were driving to the podcast, and she's messaging people on Snapchat, on fucking Instagram, on iMessages. Who like I don't know, and on WhatsApp. So yes, and I've heard from people that Menas is incredibly popular, and you've had like you have a like I've seen some of them. You've had a good set of people you are friends with when you went to study in the UK.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with friendships? Like do you actively look out to meet people, or is it something which automatically happens? Or
Okay, so in school, I was actually a lot more social, open to meeting people. I like loved going up to people and speaking to them, getting to know things and all of that. And I don't think the intention was to find friends. It was more to just like I was always excited to like engage in conversation or hang out with people or go out. I was like in school, I was super outgoing. And then once like I graduated, it was time to go to college, and honestly, I was kind of a big part of me was dreading it because I just didn't know how to. I was in a weird place in my life where I just didn't know how to like step out of some shell I had gotten into. I didn't know how I was gonna make friends. I was so terrified. And then I went to college, and then when I actually left to college, I wasn't in a good place with some of my friends back home, like both of you guys, and it was so messy because I'm trying to navigate how to get into this new sphere while also dealing with everything from before. And then I went to college, and it was first year, and I just had no idea what to do. Like, I was clueless. There were so many days that I would just sit in my dorm and video call my friends, my mom, from back home, talk to them all day. I would just step out to like get groceries or something, come back. That was literally the first entire month of my university. And then at some point, like, and this is obviously different for different people. So, like, I'm not saying this is a way to go about it. For me, it's just what worked. But, like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I get so, I get so, like, close and attached to my friends. I am, like, I think it kind of originates from the same thing. Like my parents always encouraging me to go out, spend time, like hang out with your friends, like do what you like. Kind of just being open and honest with them about everything. There was never like a something to overcome to get to that. So like, cause I was so comfortable doing that at one point, and then I kind of shut down and became this person that was, I don't know, I was neglecting all kinds of contact. I didn't want to become close to people. It was weird. And then one day I kind of woke up there and decided, like, I was like, I didn't come here all the way. I didn't come here to like, I like came here to be the person I am to some extent. And then I made an active effort to like go out to meet people. I met so many people at like different networking events, uh, at like parties, at just literally anything I could, like in college or clubs or societies or anything. And honestly, I may be friends with like 50% of the people I met. The other 50, I don't even know what they're doing. But like, it was definitely tricky because when I left school, I was in a bad space, and then I just was so unclear of how to go about things. I also think I was in a place where I was very insecure of myself. And in school, I was a person with a lot of confidence. I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care how I acted. I just liked to do and like everything as I pleased. That changed so much in that transition period. And then I got to college, and then there was that difficult period, but then I think I broke out of it because internally I was that person, so it felt like I was fighting it to some extent. And then I met the most fire people like ever. I never expected to do that because I thought like college would be like a hi bye situation. I'd meet course mates, I'd hang out with them, maybe go for a few parties, come back, and then I'll graduate and everything was over. But like Sharon was saying today when I was texting everyone under the sun, on
Yeah, she was.
WhatsApp, on iMessage, on Snapchat, and on Instagram, it was all of my uni friends. Like it was just them on every single thing, different group chats for different contexts. But yeah, and then it got to a point where I was so comfortable around them and I was so happy and I was the happiest version of myself with my flatmates and my friends and all of that, that I thought I'd lose touch of me in Kochi because I was like, who am I there? Like, who are my friends there? And like that got a bit scary because I was like, oh my God, like how do I know who I am or who's important to me or anything? But honestly, like I lost some friends for sure, but I kind of I kind of am just at the core the same person I always was. I realized a lot more and I like stuck with like some people that really stood by me. And yeah, so like the set of friends I have there or here right now is very like polar opposite people. But ultimately, we all just kind of fit, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Now that I think about it, I feel like one of the main reasons I didn't make friends in uni was I went to Japan with my best friend at that time, and I feel like that's one of
Yeah.
Like you felt comfortable.
yeah. So
Knowing that-
during my first year, like I didn't make the active effort to
Yeah,
make
'cause you're
friends outside.
comfortable,
Yeah,
yeah.
with plus she was my roommate at that time too, so it was like everything was just aligned. So we used to spend every day together and stuff. But that's not a good decision. I feel like everyone should, once you go out of high school, like go to uni with a different environment.
Environment for sure.
Yeah, because
Yeah, because
sometimes you might not fight, you will fight,
yeah,
or whatever.
or whatever like is supposed
Yeah.
to happen. But like yeah, like I definitely think like at the core I'm the same person, but like I grew so much. I also think a big part of my life I was like a snobby person, but like that changed a lot because I interact with, just like Sharon did, interact with people from different backgrounds. There's also this thing, so every time like I post a picture of my friends or something, someone that sees me will be like, oh yeah, you went to UK and made a bunch of Indian friends, like congrats, right? And it's like a comment that's made, which is fine, like they can. But like it's also the fact that like, so this is exactly how it was. There were 5 of us living in one apartment and we were all Indians, different parts of India, but we're all Indians. When I was in first year, I lived in a uni accom with I think there were like 3 British people, 3 East Asian people, and me. And like I cannot reiterate how horrible that experience was. Like, oh my God, like it was exhausting. So like first of all, I'm not generalizing any of these people to be like that, but the people I lived with were. I don't think white people are bad or Asian people are bad or anything, but
Disclaimer, Madhi.
bro, like no, like I have to reiterate that every time I say the story, someone will be like, oh, racist, oh, yeah. But no, like it was so bad. Like this, first of all, like the kitchen was a disaster.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest
I-
problem for me because I cannot stand in a messy place. Like it will drive me insane. Another thing was, as it is going into uni, like I was 17 years old. I truly had no idea what I was doing with my life. And as I entered uni, I felt like the loneliest place ever. I didn't know what I was going to do alone. And none of these people, maybe I just didn't click with them, but none of these people were like, supporters or like there for you at any point. Like even if you're talking about something, they don't, sure they'll listen, but they don't care.
They don't
like
care,
at the end of the
yeah.
day, and I'm not generalizing that to any race, because honestly, when I ended up living with this set of Indians, I ended up meeting people from all over the world, like with so many backgrounds, with different economical backgrounds, different races, different cultures. I ended up meeting so many people, and I was actually interested to go meet them because I had a support system at home to come back to, and like I had a comfort that I could come back to. We'd cook dinner together, we'd like do things together. All of us had completely separate lives, but there was something to come back to, which like helped me. So I am still in touch with all of those other people, but like at the end of the day, those people that was at home for me was like the people I was most rooted with. So like I will post stories of them. Like I will
Damn,
hype them
she's
up.
throwing shade at someone. I don't know.
Yeah, my uni life is drastically different. So one thing that I feel like is a growth for me in uni was that I am so comfortable to be alone now.
Yeah.
Whereas before I couldn't even like eat. So I have like I'm extremely conscious around people. Like it's not the loneliness, I'm scared of being alone in front of people
Yeah.
or doing actions or certain things in front of people. So like up until high school, I could not eat in front of people. Like that was a big thing that I could not do. So my friend at that time at school, she would take me to the junior cafe where there was all up until third graders, and
you
she's
would eat
like,
there?
yeah, she would eat there in front of me. I mean, not in front of me. She would sit next to me, and we would eat there because I couldn't physically eat. So like, I was so sheltered in that sense because my friends kind of adjusted to all the issues I had, and they would just support me no matter what. And then I went there, and then I was like, it's do or die. Like I have to eat.
I have to eat.
So I have to eat, and then it's like the uni cafes, and then I, worst of all, I don't have my support system next to me to just be there. So I'm so comfortable in doing things alone now. Like I can go to the cafeteria alone, I can go to a library alone.
Yeah.
Like it's just white noise at this point, like
Yeah.
people around me.
I think it also, I don't know if it's the same thing, but like it took coming back to Kochi. I used to come here often. Like it's not like I came 4 or 5 years later, but it took coming back to Kochi every single time to realize that like nothing was constant at any point, because so many of my friends like changed so much in their own ways, and like I changed so much, and coming here sometimes like things were so rapid and changing, and I just had no idea what was going on. And like I'm associating that to what you said, because like when I went to college, like everything was a certain way in my head, and I expected it to stay the exact same way when I came back like 4 years later, but it was a full 180. Another thing is, actually, this is unrelated, but I remember Tessa and Rose had spoken about studying in the UK, and I don't know if they've experienced this, but like that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. Like you'd think like you get a little bit of racism for being an Indian, right? Like, oh my God, I can't even get started on how much you get for being a South Indian. Oh, it's
Yeah.
unreal.
And most of it comes from Indians.
From Indians.
Yeah.
You-
I have never ever seen a different race come to me and like say
Yeah,
anything
no,
about
same.
being a South
And
Indian.
it's crazy because like people will come be like, oh, like you. First of all, like white people, like half the time, like I honestly don't know where the thoughts are coming from, because
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh, you speak good English. How come you're Indian?
That.
And I'm like I'm shook myself that those words have come out of their mouth. But like there's also another thing. Oh my God, like being a Muslim, there's been like multiple situations where like people make like, okay, so I know everybody makes like light Muslim jokes.
What are you talking about?
Sharan is who I'm implying.
I've never cracked a Muslim
But
joke
I'm
in
saying
my
that
life.
like sometimes it was really messed up, the kind of jokes people would make. Like times where I've literally like left where I'm from, and I go home and I just sit there because I'm like, I don't want to associate with these people or deal with them. Just things they say or how they say it can be really, really nasty, and it's just not okay.
For me in Japan, people, it's a like they don't associate religion to their constitution or anything. It's just they don't practice religion as a whole. I feel like 80% of them are Shintoists, which is like just a way of life rather than a religion. So
Sounds
they're
nice.
yeah, so they don't have like they're not aware of Islam, or like a majority of them aren't. So when you tell them about Ramadan and stuff, they're just like, you don't eat? And it's like you can't call that racism. I feel like it's just they're just not aware. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think like even because I grew up in a different country,
Yeah.
and like Russians would make Britishers look very sweet, but But like I feel like it comes from a lack of education. Like
I think so too.
Like if you travel the world, if you see
Yeah,
different
it's not
kinds
lack of
people,
education. I feel like they're just not aware.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's-
yeah. So like in whatever
Oh,
sense, like
yeah.
you are not.
And
You're,
to some extent stubborn to hold on to
Yeah,
things that were
That's what
taught.
Japan as a country is extremely proud of who they are, and they
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like they
I think
don't
that's
need to
tricky, yeah.
adhere to other cultures or anything.
I have a question, by the way, that'll tie together the money and the friends. So,
damn. Okay, let's try it together.
so in a previous podcast, you guys had talked about if you had like a shit ton of money, what would you do? Like, what's the first thing you would do, right? So I'm gonna flip the question and be like, imagine your friend's a billionaire. What would you want them to gift you? Yeah, the first thing. You can say anything under the sun. Like, what would you want? And please don't say you're not materialistic because I need an answer.
No, I am extremely materialistic. It's just that I'm the type of person to never expect anything from anyone.
But you're not expecting any. Nobody's giving that to you. Like, I promise. Like, I'm just saying that if they were to, what would it be?
like they are offering to give me anything they want.
Anything, not anything under the sun. That if you imagine it, like they as your friend is giving it to you.
It could be something tangible or intangible.
Intangible. Yeah.
For me, it's I don't even want this person to buy it for me. Like he has to buy me. I mean, he has to buy him. He or she has to buy Al Nassr Football Club, where Ronaldo plays, and then make me their social media manager, so I can make videos with Ronaldo for the rest of my life. And from that YouTube channel, I'll have money like
You're fine.
for,
like,
forever. Like I don't like.
Oh my god.
I just want the opportunity.
But like, why do you need someone to buy it? Why don't you just reach out to them?
It's Ronaldo. He's the most famous dude in the world. Like it's kind of hard. But like if there was a billionaire friend of mine who could just buy the club, yeah, I would.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
Yeah,
No, but fair enough. I expected a football answer to you.
yeah. For me, it would be like yeah.
I'd like a private concert from Drake. But the
That sounds like sex, dude.
no, like
That's
he's
exactly
performing.
what it
Yeah,
sounds.
that
No.
sounds like
No, he's
That-
performing music, and I'm not the sole audience.
he's performing music, but he's fully naked.
And he's just
And
he
you're
has,
also
like-
naked.
Shut up. I want the whole discography that I grew up with up until like the songs that I like, and I want special like appearances with my favorite other artists. But I want the audience with me and really good looking basketball players or like funny ones.
So wait, you want it to be private, but the only people who are allowed are basketball players, and they're also naked.
Everyone is just naked, bro.
They're not naked.
So she wants to be with Drake and a bunch
Like
of
this is
naked
a
basketball players.
this isn't a concert. It's a brothel. Like what are you on about?
What are you saying? I don't mean just male basketball players, female ones too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she totally meant that when she
See,
opened her
she's
mouth.
like male basketball, not just male basketball players, also female. I've been saying they're all naked. She hasn't corrected that once.
That nothing.
That's like yeah.
That
you're
she
right.
wants.
They are not naked. They are performing. Drake is performing a concert where he's singing. Because he doesn't come to any of the countries that I am in or associate with. So
He's singing naked.
he's not singing naked. He's singing with his like vest on.
Oh, just as well.
Well,
I got your idea. Like,
you didn't get my idea. You
he's just
didn't.
wearing a vest and he's singing. His dick is like.
Dude, what's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
Obviously, if he's naked and he's running around,
Why would he be running around?
Shut
that's
up.
how you can't stand and perform. No, it's not a fucking poetry competition. Obviously, he's like rapping, like you know, rappers.
Do that again, please.
I don't know, Drake.
You asked a nice, genuine question.
Like,
I
I like-
gave a
see-
genuine answer.
See,
and
the
this
thing,
is what
the
I
thing I
get.
love about Drake is like I don't really like care about his music.
That he makes diss tracks.
No, it's not even distracts. He doesn't make this like. He's such a beautiful sellout. Like to be so relevant for so long. Like I just love that about him. Like he's not the greatest rapper. He's not the greatest performer. He's not the most good-looking man. Maybe he has the biggest penis because like I've seen that video.
Okay.
But like
seen the video?
he's just a fucking like he's everywhere. And that's
'Cause
the most
he
beautiful
makes
thing
good
about him.
music.
No,
Have
he
you
doesn't.
not
Like
considered
he's just
that?
like average music, but he's just
No.
everywhere.
I'd like to differ.
Okay, guys. If you were billionaires, what would you get your friends first? Like, I'm not gonna say one single friend. I'm gonna say like your group of friends.
I'd get them the same thing if they're Drake fans.
I feel like I would take all of them for a holiday and shoot the shit out of that holiday.
I know.
So it's a gift for you,
Sounds like-
really.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it comes back. It
Both-
ties back to me.
Both the gifts are for you.
Yeah. But I would prefer if I was the billionaire because, like, I feel like more control over, like, yeah, just like the whole package.
Fair
but,
enough,
like,
fair
if my
enough.
friend turns out to be a billionaire, like,
You only get Al Nasser Club.
yeah, like, that's all I need.
Yeah, I don't know what to get my friends. Some of them, I've never felt like they need anything.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like as a person, I should have, like, a lot of money because I'm constantly.
As a
It might,
person.
like, it might have started because of the videos, but, like, because, like, I would surprise people and then,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I would love getting their reactions and, like, I would love to see them happy. But like I'm constantly like it's not now it's surpassed videos.
Yeah.
Now I just constantly think about
Ways
buying
to spend
people's
money and
buying
buying
people's
people's
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. I don't do it.
Yeah,
just
I
buy
know
myself.
you don't.
I think you should.
Yeah, but like I constantly I'm like, oh yeah, this person must really
Guys,
like
we're hitting
this.
Swarovski after this.
But I feel like if anyone should buy us stuff, it is you. Because I feel like
You couldn't say that
yeah.
on the camera.
the camera's not on. It is on, right?
It's on, it's on.
Okay, good, good.
But why?
Because out of the both of us, I have bought my friends more things than you have, okay? And I am not the one who is monetizing off of my videos who do. So,
Wait, what do you mean I've not bought my friend stuff?
what have you
He's
bought?
bought all of his friend stuff. That's what he's going to say.
Yeah, I
Oh.
bought.
He's like, whoever's my friend, I bought them.
Yeah,
Then
I
I
bought-
get it. Then whoever didn't get stuff, you know your place. That's
This will be my last podcast.
Fuck. I don't mean that, guys.
Now you know what we want, right?
Yeah. You don't have to do this.
Actually, I want like 20 other things, so you can pick.
But what would you give your friends?
Oh, I've actually thought about this. I want to go. On
Okay, no.
like-
Just what would you give me and Leah if you had like unlimited? amount of-
Currently, I don't want to give you anything.
That's true. You will give his portion to me.
Oh, I would take. I really want to go on like an adventure trip, like the Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara thing. So I think, yeah,
Oh,
I'd
that's
give
a
you guys
nice
that
thing.
because, like, why not? You'd get content and it'd be
Love
fun
that.
to see
I
Leah
would
skydive.
put him
Yeah.
on the first race for the Bulls.
Yeah,
The
I feel like that's
first in
something I would
line.
give
love
anybody
that.
because I just feel like I would love to experience that with people. So
Traveling.
yeah, but Sharan, what would I get Sharan though if I just wanted to get?
Yeah,
her
we'll
something?
end with that episode. With this episode with that. What would you get Leah and what would you get me? If
What?
money
Yeah,
was,
what would I
what-
get Leah and what would I get you? Now that I know you, I'm totally getting you something from Swarovski. Like.
You get $1 million and you think Swarovski.
Yeah, 100%. Like, are you
A
texting
few
me?
Are you buying
Are you
Swarovski?
spamming my iMessage and my WhatsApp and my Snapchat? No, you're not.
I didn't know you like to be messaged on iMessages. I've never messaged anyone on iMessage. Now I'll message
I'll get you the Drake concert.
Aw. Thank you.
Sharan, I'll take you outside the Al Nassr football.
Just outside.
Just outside. Answer for us, then we can end it.
For manners. Manners, I feel like I would, if I had unlimited amount of money, I would take her to the expensive side of Dubai Mall and be like, you have 1 hour shopping, whatever the fuck you want.
Oh my god. Well, I'm not even joking. I will start praying to Sharan the next day. I'll be like, thank you.
I feel like that would make Manners extremely happy.
100%.
With Leah, I would find her better friends.
It's not something money can buy.
No, trust me, money
She's
can't
like,
buy friends.
she's like,
buddy.
trust me, I've tried.
What would I get Leah? I feel like for Leah, I would get her. Like, obviously, you spoke about Drake, but I also know how much you like other artists.
Like?
SZA! So I feel like it would be like a personalized concert for just you and your friends. With
What
SZA.
friends?
Like, just us. Like,
Dude,
my
we'll come,
friends.
we'll come.
Yeah. And like it would be like SZA and Kanye West and all performing, and like when SZA is performing, she would like as she's singing, she'll be singing to you, and then she'll take out a box full of like Swarovski things, which which it's like
Dude,
an
we're getting
in-depth
so
gift.
intricate.
Yeah, like, look at that detailed
And while this
explanation.
concert
Your
is
favorite artist is
while,
on stage.
while this concert is happening, Miyazaki is also Ghiblifying this entire process.
You get a concert with your favorite artist,
You know those live sketches in
Yeah,
weddings?
he's live
Miyazaki's
sketching.
live sketches.
and then he'll give it to you a year later.
Yeah. How much
Probably
of a
make
time?
me happier than my wedding.
Okay, that's it, guys. I genuinely had a lot of fun shooting this. So thank you guys for coming.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah. Bye, guys. See you in the next one.